Hi, welcome to the Outside Noise Album of the Month podcast. I'm Kaylin. I'm joined by Carrie, Michael, and Julia, and today we are talking about our favorite albums that came out in the month of March. How is everyone doing? What?
May.
March was like a long time ago, dude.
I'm sorry, sometimes I get March and May mixed up. Can I
Silly
say what?
I get July and September mixed up because of the 7 and the 9.
Oh.
Because September...
Wow. That's
due
so
to the
valid.
Julian calendar.
That's so
Oh,
valid.
wow.
Yeah, so sometimes
that's like
I will...
way smarter. That's like the smartest reason.
I will read 7, as a
Right.
date and be like, oh, September, wait.
Carrie, thank you for meeting my blunder with empathy and understanding.
I'm just relating it. We're all human. I'm just trying my best. May.
Yeah, and because it was a long month, I guess we have 5 albums to pick from. So I'm just gonna read off this list. We got Motherfucker, I Am Both, Amen, and Hallelujah by Shearling, The World Is Still Here and So Are We by Mclusky, Age by Cuneiform Tabs, Live at Club Goodman by Koenjihyakkei, and Swankeeper by Lung. So we have a lot to pick from. If you're curious about how we picked all these albums for this list, these all come from our Album of the Week podcast, which is Patreon exclusive, but we'll chat about them now. So let's start with Shearling. Michael, I know this was a big favorite of yours.
Yeah, this album was crazy. It's by a lot of the same people who were in Sprain, which is an album we covered a billion years ago when their most recent record came out.
Yes, Lamb as Effigy by
Yes,
Sprain. And
Lamb
then
as
that
Effigy.
band immediately disbanded.
They disbanded. They did the thing that
Like, we
great
can't do
bands oftentimes
anything
do.
else.
They put out something amazing and then disappear.
Damn.
So we were all waiting for the next shoe to drop, and this is it. It's 2 of the same people, and it carries some of that storytelling ethos, that grim imagery, that tendency towards the noise. But this is potentially even more abstract and deeper and darker than a lot of the stuff that we saw out of Sprain. And it's all just one giant track, one huge narrative. It is very deeply touching on something that you hear a lot in noise, industrial, all other kinds of heavy, intense music, of the dynamic between your conscious and your body and your animal nature and your spirit, and the extent to which you can even disentangle those things, and the extent to which your relationship between those two things makes you feel certain ways about organized and unorganized religion. So just a very everything album, has a Western kind of vibe, more so than a sound, but it does come through in the sound if you know where to look.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's awesome. And this is a 2-parter. This is the first part of the 2 parts. So I'm very excited to see where this goes next. Leaves on a very inconclusive, unresolved note. I don't expect any nice bows tied on this, but it would be cool to see where they go from here.
But we're on a cliffhanger. We need the sequel.
Yeah.
And it's just one big track.
It's just one big
It's just like an
track.
hour-long track. You gotta listen to the whole thing.
A delicious meal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
so
like,
good.
I really like the part at 14 minutes and
Yeah, this
22
is really,
seconds.
I'm sure if you talk to the band, they got names for all the different movements,
of
but
course.
they did not put those on the record.
And like you said, kind of a country ethos. It has moments of folk, but it's like so eclectic that, you don't really need to pin it down. It's harsh.
Yeah.
It's noisy.
There's so much stuff going on here, and
Glitches.
even looking
Yeah.
at like the credits list to see how many different instruments are used on this thing is crazy, because there is everything like under the sun here.
Yes.
Yeah, and the more you get wrapped up in what this album is doing with its imagery, the more emotional like certain parts of this feel.
Yeah.
It's, like whatever he's like, what'll happen to all the horses? It's like the more you realize how much the horse is wrapped up in this like spiritual understanding of like the human body and the id and all of that, it makes that really like a gut-wrenching moment. But if you just like listen to it at face level, you're like,
Horsey.
horsey. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
There were a lot of like horse memes around this album. Obviously, I mean the album
There's
cover
a horse
is pretty
bunghole
evocative.
right there.
It's,
Right.
thanks for including it on the cover.
Well, that's a part of the
Exactly.
basal
So that- yeah.
animal nature.
That is literally
Wait, I have
the
one
best
too.
thing they could have done.
I have one too. If the horse is a deity and we're seeing its ass, then it's like, so how serious is any of this?
True.
So
Okay, yeah.
true.
Okay. Yeah, banger.
Big
Thank you,
thumbs.
Shearling. A lot of people were bullying us to review this one too. I'm glad we did, and I'm glad we looked into it.
Yeah,
And
I think
I'm-
Michael said this already, but it's like all of my favorite parts of Lamb as Effigy, and then so much more.
And just, like, turned all the way up. And it
Yeah.
was cool to have people asking us to review this one. It's like, okay, people, recognize this is part of the outside noise niche.
Yeah, it's the most requested album we may have ever had. It might
I think
be the
that's
most people have asked about.
Besides, like, some, like, the Beatles or Weezer or something.
Right.
With
Things
new
that
music.
we would actually
I
review.
think
Right,
people
yes.
also
Like,
really
good
wanted
recommendations.
Swans. People also wanted Birthing.
Yeah, people did want Swans, but
Yeah. Were we going to do that anyway? Or
we were
no?
going to do it anyway.
Or-
It's also
Okay,
like
gotcha.
right there. It was
I don't know.
obvious. Yeah, whatever. But of course we were going to do Swans. But the Shearling crowd was worried we didn't hear about Shearling and really wanted to make sure it got on our radar.
Thank you.
Yeah, so.
It did. It was there.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, okay,
Please
May
keep
9th.
telling us.
Yeah, let's move on to May 9th. The World is Still Here, and So Are We by Mclusky. This is a band that is a little larger than what we would normally cover, but I really liked this record sort of as a fun comeback. This is a band that's been around for a hot minute. I think they were primarily active in like the 90s. That's
Yeah.
sort of like a British alternative.
I think
They-
of them going into the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they hadn't
early
released
2000s.
anything in 20 years.
Yes, yeah, that's the primary thing, is that they had kind of gotten back together, I think, in 2019, I want to say. But even following the reunion, they hadn't put anything out until right now. And man, worth the wait, I would say. This really got my attention. I was into this like angular post-punk, noise punk kind of sound.
Yeah, it's very expressive, yeah.
Yes.
A lot of inflection, I would say. Absurd, but not theatrical, It hits a very good, very satisfying balance for
Yeah.
like a punk album, yeah.
I'm glad y'all are finally getting into this band. If I had realized that y'all didn't know them, I would have brought them up way earlier. Like this band, I would, especially one of their previous albums, Mclusky Do Dallas, I would listen to on repeat whenever I attended a certain university in Nashville known for its annoying indie kids. Because that's literally what the entire album is about. Is like, it boils down to like, people trying to like compete with each other about how well connected they are, just to literally being like 5-year-olds being like, my dad could beat up your dad. And it just hits the nail on the head every time. It's like funny in ways that are more funny the more you've been around the music scene.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that too, especially with their decades of experience. Like, there's
Right.
even more credibility to those claims. Like, they've just seen it for so long. And also, too, I think I may have also said this on the weekly pod, but they got a lot of really good feedback for, like, not being stuck up old fart punks.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, no, we're still here, we're still living every day, and we're just going to keep doing what we were doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it is this, like, very evolved and nuanced take on how annoying and ridiculous all of that is.
Yeah, there's just such a nice, like, snarky, sarcastic
Yes,
tone here, which
yeah.
can oftentimes also come across as annoying or condescending. But as someone, I don't know.
I like it when I
spoke
agree.
to me. I like it when I agree with them.
Yeah.
So I liked this record. It was good and I liked it. It's really
It's
good.
good.
Sound
Yeah. They anytime that they take a shot at the music community, they make sure to include themselves in that too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big distinction
Yeah.
as well, yeah.
There's a little bit of self-deprecation here too. Yeah, that I think helps balance it out a little bit.
Yeah, this one's for this is a punk band. Very like
Love.
it's for the real ones who know it's great. Even
Yeah.
for people who I know plenty of people who have never really been in a band ever, and they still, or really been involved in a scene at all, and still love their music. So it can apply to anybody.
Yeah, especially powerful if you feel disenchanted, disaffected.
It's also just like funny. It's
Yeah,
like in the way that like if you work in an office, you like the movie Office Space more. It's like for that same reason. Yeah.
I love that. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, up next we have Age by Cuneiform Tabs. Now, I wasn't here for this week because I was in Las Vegas at Punk Rock Bowling. So, Julia, I think, was this your?
I think it was Michael's, and then Julia switched
I
her
swapped.
vote.
Julia
Yes.
switched your vote? Okay, yeah, because I did check this record out. I loved this sort of like psychedelic, hypnagogic pop happening.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so sleepy and sweet. I really like this one.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of like completing the psychedelic project, being kind of looking back at psychedelic pop and being like, actually, you did not abstract enough.
Yes.
Here's more abstract.
It's like, it's gotten weirder since, guys. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a cool continuation of that same cultural trend, and the hypnagogic pop thing has been doing things that I didn't know it could do recently.
Hell yeah.
And been getting better. I feel like for the longest time that basically meant the same thing as like plunderphonics. which is fine, but it was just kind of like, why do we have this other word?
just
But
getting
now
more
it's really
distinct.
making a name for itself. Which is cool.
Yeah, or very similar to like bedroom pop stuff. And this
Right,
is a
yeah.
little bedroomy, but I feel like there's enough unique things going on with the production that
Yeah,
it
totally.
aims a little higher.
Yeah.
Sorry, wait. You're saying hypnagogic means like plunderphonic?
Yeah, it did
Essentially,
for a while.
I thought
There's some
it just meant
conflation.
it was like very low
Well,
tempo.
It didn't literally
sleepy.
mean plunderphonic, but everything that came out with that label attached to it was some
Right.
variation of like vaporwave. For a while.
okay.
Yeah.
And
Never
even
mind.
vaporwave versus plunderphonics is also
Right, exactly.
something you
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
distinct.
Yeah, I was like,
I think of
that's not what that means.
I think of plunderphonics as usually utilizing like a lot of different
That's like
samples.
specifically mostly samples.
Yeah, and versus vaporwave, which might be like,
Like
one or
one
two
sample.
sample. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
Anyway,
anyway,
yeah.
we're really getting in the
Anyway,
weeds here. This isn't either of those. Maybe
Yeah.
you could call this plunderphonic, though. I
I'm
don't
We're
sure
really know.
plundering like your
pop.
friend's
I'm sure there's
voice.
samples in this, but a lot of it is originally recorded.
Okay.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Literally, the closest you can get to producing something straight from a dream is this type of.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's so
This
beautiful.
type of hypnagogic pop is you get as intuitive as possible, as illogical as possible, but you're
feels-
still obsessed with old school psychedelia.
Yeah.
Like this.
Well, that feels like a tenet of the genre almost. That's cool.
Yeah,
If you have to like write it down. Right, the hypnagogic pop Bible. Yes.
And I might be misremembering, but this is sort of postlingual, isn't it? There's not a lot of like actual lyrics here, but there's some sort of vague vocalization.
Yeah, there's some,
Yeah.
and there's some that are almost like a word salad, and there's
Cool.
some that are fairly coherent but don't really link to anything else.
Yeah,
like,
so your
in the same
dream-
song. Yeah, very
Yeah,
dreamy.
it
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Strange.
Remember, kids, you can't take less.
Can't take less.
Can't take less.
Right.
Up next, we have Live at Club Goodman by
Koenjihyakkei. Live at
Got
Club
it.
Goodman by Koenjihyakkei. And it is just that. Live at Club Goodman. Live at Club Goodman in Tokyo.
Okay.
Live
This
at
was.
Club Good and I liked it.
Oh, so true.
They only let good bands play there. That's why it's
That's
called
what they're
Club
saying.
Goodman.
Yeah,
Only the
only good
play
men
there.
come
Only
here.
men and only good ones.
we need to go. Anyway, I don't know.
Go ahead, talk about this. You seem really, really excited because I know this one was your pick.
I really like it. This is a super unique project, and we don't see a lot of this niche. I didn't know about this genre before I saw it, and I didn't know about this artist. It has like such a huge cult following. It is in the same like brain as Magma, like this old 60s band that made Zoil. The genre, which is a fusion of jazz and noise and classical vocals and orchestra and like hard rock, progressive rock, like all that, and this really weird soup of sounds.
A sort of cosmic gumbo.
A cosmic gumbo. Yeah. And it just comes together and makes this really like crazy like you just can't even imagine what that shit sounds like. I don't know.
It is
until you hear
so
it.
energetic.
Very
a lot of
theatrical.
yeah, busy time signature changes.
Yes.
Very
Maximalist.
complex.
Yeah.
Extremely
maximalist.
maximalist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this particular project is made of a live show that they did during COVID, which was, I think, some new stuff and some older popular releases that they have, and they just put it into like a little Frankenstein album. And the main guy, the drummer, and one of the vocalists just remixed everything and mastered it and finally put it out.
Yeah. The
This
fact
is
that
that.
this is a live album is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
I don't know how any like human can play this. It's like so
Yeah.
fast
Yes.
and complex and
Are there
intricate.
just like is it one of those 30 people bands?
No, there's like 7 of them, but I think they like swap instruments sometimes.
Okay,
I watched
cool.
one of their
That sounds so
performances.
fun.
I
Yeah.
think the drummer actually has this genetic thing where he has like 7 arms.
Oh, yeah.
So he can all
Yeah,
at
I
once.
think I saw
Some of
that.
these bands will pull out the two drummer technique.
Yes, I love that
I
shit.
can't remember if they had 2 drums. I think it was just him.
Yeah.
But
if
they
they
had
just
like,
have one, they might have a
A kit and auxiliary.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Dream
That
Theater
makes sense.
style, enormous, cartoonish.
That's
drum
kind of
kit.
like
Yeah.
my dream role.
I
It's
l-
like I get the chimes and the triangle and
The shit is
and
like
the
above
yes.
you too. You have to be like.
Yes.
I get a conga, I get a castanet, like yes.
yeah.
Right.
They did
I
have a
love-
thing where every song finished and they like got up, changed where they were standing, what they were
Yes.
holding, and then started the next song.
I love that.
Yeah, it was like really fucking cool. I wish they would come to Philadelphia.
This is one of those records that's just so technically impressive that we had to pick it.
You just gotta hand it to him.
It's crazy.
Gotta hand it to them. Give them their flowers.
Yeah. And I understand why everybody has loved them.
Yes, for
For
you
so long.
like theory heads, yeah, you'll
Theory heads.
like this one. And it was really fun to find this entire subgenre of music that
Yeah.
I didn't even know existed in this band that has this crazy cult following.
And even if you listen to like the artists that inspired all of this, it's really like a subdued version. It's like so interesting seeing how they like
Well, so
went
that
to
artist, or the genre originally, I guess, came from the 60s, you said? Do you think, because recording technology and, like, production and stuff has gotten more dialed in, do you think that has to do with it sounding less busy? Is it less, like, a big wall?
I feel like that's probably true.
I don't know. That's just an idea I had. Because
Yeah.
some of that old, even just old, easy... I listened to, like, a lot of easy Japanese rock from that era, too.
Yeah.
And
It's pretty soft.
it's soft, but I mean, just the way the recording is, you can always hear the sound of the room and the noise. I mean, that's
Right.
just the quality
Yeah.
of it at the time. Anyway, something to think about.
Yep.
Could be cool. Yeah, the more
makes
detailed
sense.
production.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
that's
Magma
also
is just this, but like take everything down, like divide it by 10. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so interesting.
Yeah,
It's
very,
even- yeah.
very enigmatic, weird little scene with the cult following, and it's very cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the last album from the month of May that we have is The Swankeeper by Lung. Lung has been around for a hot second, too, and they have a cult following as well, more within the American underground, I guess.
They're in Cincinnati, right?
Yes, they're out of the wonderful, thriving, weird, eclectic scene in Cincinnati. This is a duo, too. The front woman is classically trained in opera and cello. And so cello is kind of the main strings instrument on this album, but it's put through a distortion pedal, so it sounds more guitar-y, I guess. But you can hear once you're like, oh, that's cello.
and
Yeah, I had no idea when I was listening.
Well, yeah, and the cello's so distinct too because it has such a interesting range in between violin and bass.
Yeah.
And so it can almost get into bass territory, like
It gets
bass
very
guitar.
deep,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Just those all-encompassing things. It's so cool.
A very deep timbre, and she's not doing operatic vocals the whole time, but there are a few tracks later in the album where she shows off her chops.
Yeah, it goes a bit theatrical, a bit art rock, but again, I mean,
I think
eclectic is another
yeah.
word I would say to describe this
I
album
would definitely
too.
call this art rock,
Yeah.
for sure. So if you like things super straight laced, this might not be up your alley, but
has that
I
art.
liked this. Yeah. It has this really unique sound. So even though it has these weirder elements, it is so melodic and rooted in like pop music. I think most of the song structures are pretty like verse chorus, and some of these hooks too really like got in my head.
Yeah. Really good songwriting. You said you have been returning to this album
Like
because
over
of that.
and over
yeah, for that
again.
reason.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, so this album to me, my impression that I had when I was first listening to it was like the realization that genre, that sort of, you could call it art rock, it toes into grunge, it's very fearless, it's happening now.
Yeah.
Kind of like Michael's hypnagogic pop point. I feel like this genre is having an uncharacteristic strong streak of like amazing stuff.
Yeah, I
in
think
this vein.
it's really being revived
It's
and
like
also
that crazy kind of
crystallized.
dark 90s revival as well.
Yeah. This is
Cool.
very progressive too, so fans of prog rock I think would like this as well.
Yeah, just hit after
Yeah.
hit. I'm loving it.
Yeah, and all of that said, it has this sort of like grungy DIY ethos that also is like really common within the Cincinnati scene, and really brings it down to earth for me. I really loved this record.
I like when I was listening and I could just immediately tell that she had like some kind of extensive vocal training, but she was trying to do like this like punk dark adjacent.
Yeah, a lot of the vocals are more
Yeah.
kind of like spoken or like
Yeah,
soft kind of.
but you can tell.
Not like whispered, but yeah, she
You can
really
tell.
unleashes it at just the right moments, which I think makes
Yeah.
it more powerful than if she came out the
Yeah,
gates.
that is commendable. If you have the chops and you're not constantly showing them off, that is commendable.
Yeah. I'm having war flashbacks to Panic at the Disco. I'm probably going to cut that out. Sorry. I'm just thinking too of other vocalists who are who don't hold back ever.
Even maybe
a little bit,
when
even
they
should.
Even when they should.
Right. Do another
Yeah,
backflip, please.
that's literally a perfect example of the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're always at a 10, then it's boring. It's a lot more interesting and
Yeah.
impressive whenever you kind of keep your cards close to your chest.
I mean, even then, it's so hard to not constantly be in that mindset of like I need to like have the vocals here, that
Hit the
doesn't
note.
sound right.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's not like, I don't know. So
That's
yeah,
all
I
makes
feel
sense.
like that's also, yeah.
All right. Well, do we have any immediate thoughts? Do we have any standouts? Is anyone leaning any particular way
I don't know what
for
I'm
our
picking.
album of the
I
month?
think I do too.
Okay, let's say it all at the same time.
3, 2, 1.
Shearling.
Shearling. I didn't have
So funny how we do it every single time, and we all know that we're gonna say the same thing.
I had no idea what everyone else was. I was just gonna say whatever everyone else said.
Oh,
Shearling.
after the fact. Here, guys, Shearling.
I hadn't picked one. I just wasn't sure. But
I mean,
I'm glad
these
there's a
are really
standout.
strong. They're
Yeah.
all so strong.
It really was, and like I said, they're just all so fucking weird and like in
Yeah.
such a delicious way.
This has been such a unique month
Yeah,
of unique
and I wasn't
music.
sure who would pull ahead, but I'm
Yeah.
very happy that Shearling got it. It's such a good album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, the concept. Whenever you come in with a concept that strong, that
can't
like
be
instantly.
fucked with.
Yeah, totally.
Ooh, and I'm so excited for part 2.
Part two.
Part
do,
two.
do we know when?
No.
They're just gonna put it out.
They're
whenever
probably
they want.
also, yeah, I don't think this album had too much fanfare in
right.
advance.
Yeah, I
they
think it
just
was-
kind of dropped it and then everyone freaked out. And
Yeah, I'm sure if you were in the know enough, you had some inkling that this was about to happen, but it was a surprise drop for most people, and the next one probably will be too.
Cool. Well, keep your eyes
So
peeled.
exciting.
Maybe it'll be under a different artist name too. Who knows?
Who knows
Probably
what kind of butthole is going to be on the next one, alright, guys?
What? Ooh, what's your pick? Okay.
Mine.
Okay. So do we have any honorable mentions from the month? Are there any other albums that didn't get shouted out that we would like to shout out now? I'll go
I have
ahead
a bunch.
and share one of mine. I really liked Root Systems by History Dog. Michael, I know this was one of yours as well.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a avant-garde jazz record, and it combines some spoken word stuff with like improvised jazz instrumentation that just all like works beautifully together, and I really like all the concepts here. I like the way that these sounds are presented. Sorry, I'm not saying anything. Michael, do you have anything more
It's
thoughtful
like
to
a
say?
I love the way these
collective-
sounds are presented.
It's a collective consciousness thing. So it's the idea that like when a bunch of people get together, they kind of create a new consciousness that's based on all of theirs at once and is not traceable back to one individual person. And it's trying to represent this unrepresentable thing. And it's very interesting. And it shows the reasoning process of this group of people, which is something that's extremely hard to pin down in any way, and really gets at the key of like what sociology even means. So it does all of that while also being really fun and kinetic and energetic and just like a great listen even if you don't know what's going on. Although it's pretty easy to pick up that they're not
Yeah.
too convoluted.
Yeah,
but,
it is pretty accessible as far as like avant-garde jazz stuff goes. You know?
Yeah, as weird as that sounds, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out.
You're so funny.
You're so
That's
funny.
so funny.
Because that one is just so relatable. It's like
Yeah.
it's so intimately relatable and understandable that yeah, you kind of get it immediately. But
Yeah,
it's good.
everybody's been with a group of people before. Hopefully.
Exactly.
And everyone's
Hopefully.
been in the room when somebody makes a joke and everyone's like,
And they say, you're
"You're so
funny.
That's so funny
love
because
it.
that's always what you say whenever a joke is really funny. Instead of laughing,
Right.
you go, "Oh my god, that's so funny."
Sometimes you have to say it. Sometimes you have to say it word for word.
Sometimes it's true.
Speaking of funny and laughing, I'm gonna have to go with Laughter by Alpaca. Very extremely unique, like mixture of noise rock, goth rock, punk. I just thought this was a very special album.
I need to listen to this. It's crazy that I haven't
Were you
yet.
not here?
No,
Oh, never
girl.
mind. Oh,
It was not.
well,
No.
I really liked it. It was good, and I really liked it.
Love.
It's like a gothifying things that aren't originally goth. It's applying the goth aesthetic to some other punk aesthetic vibes.
I love
Right.
that.
Love that.
That's what I was gonna
The
say.
worlds
You
are
guys-
more similar than they are different.
Did you guys just find Death Rock? Have you just discovered this?
Damn.
I don't think it's heavy enough to be death rock.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I'll have
Actually,
to
think of
listen
that
to
as
it.
being like
Actually, I'm with Michael and Julie on this one.
Well, I haven't listened to it, so I can't.
I have an honorable mention.
What is it, Carrie?
Thank you for your interest. How sweet of you to ask. It's Eremocene by Virga.
More goth.
More goth. This is prairie goth this time. We're going to Kansas. We're going to
Gothifying things that aren't really goth.
We're going to well, so
Prairie's
here's the
very
thing.
Prairie. Oh.
Prairie goth. So they're sort of the concept here of like where Americana fits during like the cultural free fall
What cultural freefall?
Michael,
I think everything's fine.
you're gonna want to sit down for this one, okay?
Well, it
I
all
think
started
everything's
when
fine.
Ronald Reagan.
Michael's no phone year has been going pretty
Oh my
well.
God. Outside
I'm
noise.
so happy.
In 2026, outside noise is going to flip phones. Good luck finding
Sign up for
us.
the
Yeah,
newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be sending our shit in the mail.
Carry a
I
pigeon.
actually, I do listen to a podcast that has just launched a print tier on their Patreon, and they'll just
Shit.
mail you postcards and like letter transcripts.
I kind of love that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have had
That's kinda
Patreon.
fun.
Trying to unplug.
I have had Patreon subscriptions where you have to put in a shipping address for just in case, but I never pay for the tier high enough to require it. To like
Well,
get stuff sent
Womp
to it.
womp.
But they
If you
still have my
guys,
address.
if anyone has listened this far, and if you want the print tier, let us know.
No, it's good. Okay, sorry.
What the hell would we be giving these people? Sorry.
Newsletter. We already sent out an
Zines,
email
bitch.
newsletter.
What the fuck? What do you mean? Why would
I
you
was
do that?
imagining like the transcript of us talking. I was like, I don't want anyone to have that. Actually, I don't want anybody.
It's gonna be Michael.
Ooh, like a flat Stanley.
Yeah.
Yes, Flat Stanley
flat
Michael.
Michael.
Flat Michael.
Ooh.
Oh, you're gonna make a Michael Shrinky Dink and put it in there.
Oh, that's so
yeah.
cute. Wait, that's the print tier. Is you get a Michael Shrinky
You get a
Dink
Michael
keychain
Shrinky Dink.
Get him in
every
the
month.
oven, y'all.
every month. That's awesome.
Yeah, get a new Shrinky Dink. I'm in a different pose. I'm in a different.
You
outfit.
have a different
That's-
fuck ass T-shirt on.
Yeah, a
So
different
adorable.
t-shirt.
A different T-shirt shaped with the shape of Tennessee that says home on it.
Ooh, the new
Yeah.
Labubu, but it's Michael.
But
But it's Michael.
That's really good.
This album was really good.
That's awesome.
Speaking of cultural
I
freefall,
forgot what you were even fucking talking.
It also-
Eremocene by Virga.
Oh yes. Okay.
yes, really cool, really off-putting in a way. But yeah, fits in Americana where it can. Just being from Kansas, very droning guitars adds kind of like a gaze element. So I wouldn't say it's as much of like a country gaze fusion as stuff like Shallowater or whatever, for example.
Right.
This definitely is more of the prairie goth sentiment, but it's so cool, so weird. I said it's like you feel the twister forming. The sky is green, like it's very that.
It's very, honey, you got a big storm coming. There's a big storm coming.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I
It's
think I said
very,
this
like-
before, but this is like where I want like shoegaze to go.
Yes, this is where
Yes.
it fits.
There are so
very
many
nicely.
things that shoegaze should do.
Yeah,
It just
Anyways.
doesn't.
All right.
I think someone wrote it down on one of the albums for Rapid Fire a few weeks ago, and it was so good that I didn't even change it. I just put it on the Instagram like that. It was a Japanese album, and it said like American, whatever the genre was. I want to say it was shoegaze. American shoegaze bands should listen to this and feel ashamed. Like it said, take fucking notes. Yeah, it was such a good comment.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to keep it. But yeah, anything that is making shoegaze. Here's the thing. If you're making a shoegaze album, I think you should listen to it and be like, have I heard this before?
You should be like, does this make me feel like anything,
make me
or am I
feel anything?
completely neutral?
Oh, man.
Or in fact bored by this?
I made a connection whenever I was talking to Morgan Garrett where I was like, do you think all of this just goes back to like people who grew up on like Christian contemporary? Because it kind of sounds like it.
Yeah,
right?
It has that
Yeah.
shimmery,
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
kind of wall of sound.
But like it's kind of like when you had an indie rock band and you were trying to do something that was slightly alternative without
Without being
towing too far.
yeah, without-
Well, yeah,
alienating
not having
While
to
still
like
being
learn your
consumable.
instruments or your amp, like you just turn
Right.
it up or whatever.
Yeah.
This
Get
is what I'm
something that sounds
capable
fucking
of.
I remember when a very specific person who I never would have imagined saying this to me in college being like, did you know there's a genre called shoegaze? And I was like, party's over.
You're like, well,
Back it up.
pack it up.
Anyway.
Nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I've
fine.
really gotten into this
do I know
new
who you're
genre.
talking about? Is it
No,
who I
you
think
don't
you're
know.
talking
No,
about? Okay,
no,
never mind,
this is
never mind.
like some random.
It was some
girl.
random. I don't think any of you even know this, but yeah, it was just like a random person.
curious.
But it was like, oh, okay, yeah. Yes, I
Well,
do know about shoegaze.
yeah.
And
Why, yes.
now I don't. I just deleted it from my memory.
I tell that all the laughing we just did at that person. I do distinctly remember learning about math rock for the first time and being like, so is it like
That's fine.
numbers or
Yeah.
yeah?
Sometimes you just miss shit, but it's just
Yeah,
like,
but-
but it was very much at the same time as. It
Well, I was
became-
also in high school.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm
And
learning.
also-
learn
learning.
about a genre
That's the time.
every now and then.
It has
You have
become
to.
it has become the replacement for Midwest emo as
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the thing that you hear every time when it's like, hey, do you want to hear my friend's band? and you're like, let me guess what your friend's band is. It used to be Midwest emo, and now it's shoegaze.
Yeah.
Wow. Michael, do you have any honorable mentions?
I have several.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you say one already? Say more.
No, well, we both agree. We kind of shared root systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's we have a shared custody of root systems.
Go for it, Michael.
I'll just get a couple ones off the bat because we have talked extensively about these artists before, so I don't need to go into too much detail. But Lydia Roberts put out another great record.
Fuck yeah,
Noise
this month?
Straight from the Soul. Very weirdly accessible, and even if like noise wall isn't your thing, I know it's not my thing, but I like everything that Lydia does. So
yeah, I really love her piano-driven harsh noise wall, and I especially love her album Heartache to Heartache, which we have available on cassette tape on our website.
Wow. And then Swans put out what might be their last full band album.
Oh yeah.
This is their last one for real this time.
You can hear anyone talk about this anywhere, which is why I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. But it's a weird twist. It's weirdly positive, not what anyone was really expecting, especially after the most recent Swans album before this, which was very downer, like even more than usual. They almost go back to like a no-wave thing, but in a way that brings the energy instead of just the straight-up misanthropy. But it makes me think, is Michael Girard just like happy to be done with life and done with his project, or is he now feeling comfortable in a world that is just as hateful as him?
Dun dun dun.
That's like an A push DBQ. That's
Right.
a essay question.
Discuss.
Wow.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's heavy. I like it.
Yeah.
So that was my big thinker on that.
Love.
The new Sentries album was great.
Yeah.
Gem of the West is so good. I love you, Sentries.
Yay.
Oh my
Thank you,
god.
Sentries.
Every single album. Agonizer, Snow is a Metaphor for Death, Gem of the West.
We've liked
banger,
all of
banger,
them.
banger, banger, banger.
They
It's
just keep getting like heavier and crazier and more tense.
Yeah, but it's still got like the songwriting chops to carry it all in that like you could rewrite these in a less abrasive way and they would be like kick-ass pop songs too. So that you got that, you got the writing is there where it's like really compelling, and then all of the riffage on top of it is just really clever, really like dissonant and weird and interesting and will hold your attention, and it is just another knockout great record.
Yeah.
And I just hope that this I think we got even more people on board with this one, so big things coming for this artist.
Yeah, and it's also just like the perfect like artist evolution from like the first album to the second to the third.
Yeah,
How it should go.
It's I just see where it's all going. I love it.
It's getting more
And I
polished,
love it.
and it's not selling out.
Love that.
So true.
Love
I
that.
love when you can do both of those things.
Yay.
You often, that's a struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zayok is internet rap that I actually really like. I feel like we don't do a ton of internet rap on here, but this is just so heavy, hard-hitting, huge, expansive, and manages to not be corny, which is huge in internet rap.
It's really hard. Yeah.
And yeah, it just goes hard. Maybe the emo sound is back in this more hardcore, energetic way, and I want to hear more of this kind of thing. And then the thing that I would rather spend the most time on, because I think this was on the week where I wasn't able to be here and advocate for it, was Caroline.
Okay, I wanted to ask what your
yeah.
pick would have been. Okay, yeah.
It was that. And it's a yet another, say it with me, London post-rock
London post-rock album.
Gotcha. More windmill scene adjacent.
More windmill scene,
kinda,
but this
yeah.
is more abrasive, less classical inspired.
Okay.
It is maybe even has influence from that kind of no wave-ish world. It has some inspiration from maybe like even neo-folk, that kind of thing. It's way darker than most things that we hear out of London, and way less anthemic than most of what we hear out of London.
Wait.
And,
I might actually like this one.
yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. I'm trying to talk you
Not
guys
to be a
into it,
hater.
basically.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, it's very noisy. It's very weird.
Hell
It's
yeah.
very like uncomfortable at times, but has these moments of just complete euphoria and is Americana in a way that you can only make if you're not American. It's just like humongous, overblown. The fiddles in it are just used in this very strange but very compelling way.
Did they put on their 10-gallon hats?
Not really.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
There's something here that is just so quintessentially like I don't know, outsider Americana, I guess.
I love that.
But it's awesome. The album was fucking great. I feel like it was a flash in the pan thing. A lot of people really liked it right when it came out, and I haven't heard a lot since. And I'd like to change that. I'd like to bring back the discussion. So.
Oh my god, sleeper hit.
Nice.
Gotta dig in.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
I do have one more that I'll shout out here just to wrap us up, I guess. I really liked We Carry Eden by Son of Chi. This is another one that kind of slipped under our radar, I think. But it's sort of music concrete and experimental electronic stuff mixed with a lot of field recordings. It's really inspired by African storytelling traditions. I don't have it in front of me, but the Bandcamp page goes more into like what that means specifically. But there's some spoken word here, and yeah, it's just very like back to nature. It's very inspiring about this sort of like connection between humans and the earth, and the idea that we're not separate from nature. You know, it's very easy to think of yourself as like not an animal, but you are. And it just kind of explores that through these different like soundscapes and beautiful like bubbling water, and it explores different like landscapes too through those field recordings.
Need to meditate to this.
Yeah.
Desperately.
Yeah. There's a really beautiful like poem kind of wrapped up in these like 2 20-minute long tracks. So if you listen to the whole thing, you do get the whole poem, but it's said like 1 or 2 words at a time. So you really gotta tap in.
This is a non sequitur, but Shaka Khan recently posted a TikTok of meditating.
I saw that.
Music and meditation put together.
She has her little bowl.
She struck a singing bowl. She invited us to breathe with her. The icon Shaka Khan. So it's kind of in that way too. Music speaks.
Music speaks.
True.
Wow.
Never thought about it that way.
I love music.
Powerful
Stuff.
Well, I want to say congratulations again to Shearling for winning Album of the Month.
Yay.
Yeah.
That means they might be in the running for Album of the Year.
Depending on
Let's
the
check
release
back
schedule,
in 6 months.
They may end up competing against themselves. Probably not. I bet that album's going to take longer to cook, but still, that would be funny.
That
How
would
long
be really
were
good.
they working on this one? Did they say when
Probably
they started?
like 2 years.
Yeah, I would say. But the question is the other one like done?
When did they start
Right,
the
exactly.
second one?
But,
Yeah. We'll have to see. That would be
Anyway.
funny if it were like for number 1 album of the year, number 2 album of the year.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you've watched this far, you know where to find us. Just whatever. It's fine.
It's on Outside Noise 444 pretty much everywhere.
OutsideNoise.org.
Put it on the screen. Put it on the
patreon.com/outsideNoise.
screen. Put it down below.
Yeah, if you
Put it
like
in
what
our
we do,
description.
we have zines on our website that are free. We have tapes on our website that cost money. We have merchandise. We have email newsletter. We have a Discord server for our Patreon people, and we hang out every other week. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
talk to
Just like
us.
DM us. I don't know.
Yeah, or just DM us
We don't really-
individually. That's cool too.
I
Cool.
can give you my phone number if you want.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll go ahead. Okay, that's 615-7. Okay.
You didn't even get the next number right.
I don't know it. I don't know
You think
it.
you know somebody.